Hey guys, what's up? It's Lip Up Bask, and today, I'm gonna find some people first. Uh, if you smell what the rock is cooking, oh my God, you know how a love lady came through me and said, "Oh, miss you." I ripped it up and flushed the tissue. A love lady came through me and said, "Oh, miss you." I ripped it up and flushed the tissue. I ain't got nothing to get you on human. We gotta shoot and I'm tired of being tired, being tired. Tired of being. If you smell what the rock is cooking, you better. Jesus Christ, what is this? ACE died of AIDS. Sad. If you smell the rock. If you somehow to be the rock, his name is Dwayne Johnson. Hey, yo, you know how I feel. Hey guys, come on now, come on, hey, yo, mute that, yep. Hey, Dylan. Hi, Dylan. How are you doing? So we are actually going to play Big Bang Master Card. As you might be able to see here. And if you smell the rock is cooking, thanks. Hey. Yeah. Chub, chub, chub. Yeah. Yeah. Last time. Do you hear the screeching noise now, bros? Did you hear it now? That's actually not very good. Nice. Fucking myself. We're playing this game, Dylan. It's on Steam, and I think it's $14.99. It's a pretty cheap game. I don't have SnowRunner. I mean, you'd like this game, just watch it, okay? I can't even afford SnowRunner, let alone possibly run it. Alright, give this game a chance, please. Você não brigou, você não botou lá para aqui no material. Oh my god, I just had a nasty cough. Hey Dylan, you still here? Dylan, What? What the fuck? Why'd you leave? Oh, I thought you left. I was like, why did you leave? I was thinking. Oh my god. If I had SnowRunner, I would play it for you, but I really don't. Okay, let's go. Okay, mop should be kicking in. I mean, it should be. Yeah. Yeah, there's my card. That's Ninobi, go by I think the graphics are, the graphics are definitely, I don't want this. Watch this when I turn this off, Dylan. Except for the shit things here. Oh, yes. Beautiful. I want a rice bucket. Like right now. Right Yes. Yeah. Always gotta start it so you can pump the freaking gas to it. Okay, now what you want to do is put on your seatbelt, break off, check the chat for a minute. Type in the chat if you're still here, okay, Dylan? I have a computer, I'm downloading it. Cause that's just how we roll. What is this here? Yes. The memes. That's my name. That's my last name. Yep. We're gonna drive there even though I can fly there if I want. Actually, fuck it. No. Never mind.
Voi Satana! Voi Satana! Voi vittu!
Yeah, so. That's just checking on y'all. Anything cracking below. Dylan, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Yeah. Where'd you go? You there? Are you on? Yeah. Are you on? Are you on? Please, need not crash. You could set up on the end and then I'm not in my buckle.
Vittu ja vittu! Satana!
You want to let your car warm up. Choke on this fan when you build this car. Yes. Not want to play cheater. I do not want that at all. Because it's a piece of garbage. Oi, vittu. Oi, vittu. Latta. Tappalatta, puppalita. Yeah. Stole my goddamn car. Oh, damn, what the hell happened? Jeez.
Voi Satana!
in the chat. Yeah, I'm checking the chat. Be right back. Oh, hey King, how are you doing? How you doing, bruh? Sorry, sometimes this does it. What if I close OBS? Muting or something.
Kyllä yksi kyrvä syylä. Perkele!
Oh, fucker. I'm fucking on whenever. Yay. Welcome to San Andreas. I'm C. Jackson Grocery, and the gang maintains code. Austrian. I don't really care about the monetization right now, but I'm fucking on. Like, just know that I'll probably play with a Valorant more. And tell you like things, songs. Actually, what's going on right now? It was all a dream. I used to read World magazines. Don't put the heavy deal for the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap cat, Mr. Matty, Molly Mall. Smoke a weed, a bamboo, sleeping on a glass. Yeah. But what happened with the black lumberjack? What the heck is that? Yeah.
Yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amounted to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling for, that told the police on when I was trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And all the niggas in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read World magazines. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rapper cat, Mr. Max Molly Mall. I let my tape pop till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on stop.
Way back when I had the running back, lumberjack, the Hampton Mac. Remember rapping Duke, do the hard, you never go to this spot, we take it this far. Now I'm in the run, running like this, I run tight.
Time to get paid, blow up like the world trade. I'm a winner in the one that used to eat sardines for dinner.
Might be like that sucker. I got like in the groove that day. Bruh.
Mr. Raw G, Lucy B, take a break.
Fuck Master Flex, love Bugstarski.
Fuck Master Flex, love
Love
Bugstarski. I
Bugstarski.
blow it up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal love and leech. And a warm cheap, I smoke stuff with my peeps all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Moet and Alizé keep me pissy. Girls used to diss me, now they write letters cause they miss me. I never thought it could happen, this rapping stuff. I was too used to packing gats and stuff. Now honeys play me close like butter play coke. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast. Condos and Queens, Indo for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Small speak. Living life without fear. Putting 5 carats in my baby girl ear. Lunches, brunches, interviews by the fool. Considered a fool, coming out of high school. Stereotypes of the black man misunderstood. And it's still all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was there, man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch screen, money green leather sofa. Got 2 rides, a limousine with the chauffeur. Phone bill about 2 G's flat. No need to worry, my accountant handles that. And my whole crew's lounging. Celebrating every day, no more public housing. Thinking back on my one-room shack. Now my mom pimps an act with minks on her back. And she loves to show me off, of course. Smiles every time my face is up in the source. We used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat, wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne on the birthdays. Damn right I like the life I live. Cause I went from negative to positive and it's all. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Representing B-Town in the house. Junior Mafia, Mad
I just want to play that song, so. Yeah. Set it off, cause I dropped out of high school. I literally dropped out of my high school. A 5-foot building. Dropped out of my high school. You're gonna see how a power multiplier works on this thing. driving along. Oh my god, no. Yeah. Come on. We might as well over there. Or at least it's from the water fountain because we really need it. We need it also. My thirst level's not red. Well, I'm going to play it legitimately even though I have a cheat box. You're up, baby. Baby, you're my friend. Yeah, you're my friend. You're my friend. The gorp. Yeah. Oh, let's go back. Yep. I'm about to choke.